The Supreme Court today came down heavily on the Karnataka government and said that the Kamal Haasan starrer Thug Life must be allowed to be screened in Karnataka, and that mobs and vigilante groups cannot be allowed to take over the streets. Remember, superstar turned politician Kamal Haasan had made a comment. And what was the comment? He had said that Kannada was born out of Tamil. And that had triggered a backlash in Karnataka with several groups giving a call that the film should be boycotted. Now let me give you the big takeaways from the Supreme Court's observation today. The Supreme Court today said that a movie cannot be banned because one has a difference of opinion. And I'm quoting the apex court, just because one has a different opinion, that doesn't mean the movie should be banned. Rule of law demands that any film that has a CBFC certificate, which is a certificate which is provided by the Board of Film Certification, should be released. And as per the plea, which was before the top court, after Victory Cinema, which is a prominent cinema in fact, they had gone ahead and announced its plan to screen the films in Bengaluru. What we had seen was from Rakshana Vedike, which is a group, a prominent group in Karnataka. They had allegedly threatened to set theatres on fire if any film of Kamal Haasan was released in the state. Now, the Supreme Court last week asked the Karnataka government to respond to that plea. Today, the state actually said that the producer of the movie has approached the Karnataka High Court and made a statement that he will resolve the issue. The court was not convinced with that answer and said, we cannot allow this to happen. Rule of law demands that any person should be allowed to release a film. It can't be at the fear that the theatres will be burnt. We are not saying that people should come and watch the film, but the film should be released is the larger sense that was given by the Supreme Court. Remember, according to the petitioner, the producer of the film had approached the Karnataka High Court to seek police protection. The proceedings shifted focus to whether Kamal Haasan should apologize for his past statements. The petitioner then criticized that as appeasement and had alleged that the High Court route was ineffective for securing fundamental rights. So on the show tonight, we ask, are the politicians becoming super censors? And will the mob actually decide whether a film should be released or not despite CBFC clearance? First up, before I bring in the guests, let's listen in to what the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka had to say after what the Supreme Court observed.
I appeal to all the Kannada activists, please be calm. We should respect the court. No one should take law into their hands.
And joining me now is Shivanand. He is a member of the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. We also have Kasturi Shankar, actor and activist. Girish Wankade is a prominent film trade analyst, and Lata Srinivasan is author and entertainment journalist. Lata, this would be almost setting a precedent of sorts, because in the past we have seen multiple groups make calls that the films should be boycotted. Padmavat, for example, we have seen that what happened, there were protests against Deepika Padukone. Many would say that this was almost like some kind of publicity stunt by Kamal Haasan. But whatever said and done, the Supreme Court is today categorically saying that vigilant groups cannot decide that whether a film should be released or not after the CBFC certificate.
Thanks, Maria. Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's becoming a big issue today where for everything that a person does, especially if he's politically inclined, and of course, Kamal Haasan has one foot in politics and now he's going to be a full-time politician. I think if any statement they make can trigger such mob reactions and vigilante actions, as the Supreme Court has said, does it become feasible for filmmakers to run to the Supreme Court every single time, their film has been certified and everything is ready and it's set for release. And if somebody doesn't take a liking to whatever may be, either the filmmaker or the actor or the producer, and believes that a film is a certain way, does it mean that they have to run to the Supreme Court every single time? I think what the Supreme Court has done today it's a landmark judgment, because it has clearly said that any film which has been certified by the CBHC should release, irrespective of other actions. And I think it's a great decision, and it's a way forward for the film industry itself.
Yes, Girish Vankade, how do you look at the Supreme Court's observations today?
That is a right decision, because when already it is cleared by CBFC, it has to be screened, and we should not be bowed by the pressure of various elements who are talking against the film. Obviously, at this moment when the film is already 13 days in cinemas, and which is already not doing well on business, so the real time is already gone. This is something which has to be done earlier, but now that film is already rejected by the audiences at this time. If the film is released, obviously it doesn't make any business sense. But yes, the prerogative which the High Court and the Supreme Court has given, that it should be screened, it has to be definitely approved.
But Girish Vankade, there is another view that this was all part of the larger effort to get the eyeballs for this film.
No, see, if you see... If,
a controversy is actually ensuring good bucks.
Yeah, that is for sure. Because see, the overall collection of this film in 12 days is around 46 crore, out of which the share of Telugu is around 4 crores, Hindi is around 1.3 crores. So at the most, if it would have been made in Kannada, if it has released, it would have not made more than 3 crores. So the publicity which has got is more than 30 crores. So obviously that controversy which has fueled the word of mouth, which has amplified the overall prospects of the film.
Okay. Kasturi, the Supreme Court says we can't allow this to happen. The rule of law demands that any person should be allowed to release a film. It can't be at the fear that the theatres will be burnt. And that's the call that was given by Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. I'm going to ask him what next for their entire campaign. But your thoughts on this, Kasturi?
I have 3 points to cover. So I request a little bit of patience. I don't even mind if I don't have a second view. But let me give you these 3 points. They're very important to this discussion. The first off is, yes, I absolutely agree with the Supreme Court. On paper, what they say is absolutely right, but ground realities are different. I allude back to the screening of Baba, Rajinikanth's movie, that had the PMK up in arms against it. There was no legal order to talk to any producers council, as there was in this case. There was no legally mandated delay. But on the ground, the field reality was that people from a political party supposedly were making off with actual boxes. In those days we had actual movie cans. People were making off with it, damaging theatre property. So theatres actually started screening the movie less or avoiding the movie. It was a disaster for the movie. It is another thing altogether that the movie itself was not a hit material, but this was the clear and present danger to people who wanted to go watch the movie in theatres. Second was the Tamil IPL match with Sri Lankan players in Chennai, in the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. Madam Jayalalitha said, we cannot guarantee protection, because at the end of the day, the government is not duty bound to give police protection to a private event. Yes, they pay entertainment tax to hold the event. What that entertainment tax is used for is a very fuzzy area to sort out. Karnataka charges 30% entertainment tax on movie tickets. What do they use this for? Not very clearly laid out. So until that is done, you cannot insist on police protection, which is a completely different department. So reality is, while freedom of speech should be protected at all cost, these problems are going to be there. And in the case of Thug Life, unfortunately, I think it's too little, too late. The movie has not done well. People who would have seen the movie, who absolutely have to show solidarity with Mr. Kamal Haasan, who are great fans of Mr. Kamal Haasan, have all traveled to different borders of Karnataka to see the movie.
That's
So
interesting.
any marginal income now it's really going to be insignificant. So I think while what the Supreme Court says is absolutely right, it's not enforceable when the people's sentiment or political sentiment or the state sentiment go against it. Another example is Bal Thackeray's refusal to have an India Pakistan match in Mumbai. It doesn't follow rules. When after the deed is done, there's nothing you can fight for. My own movie released on 16th of May. Last point. My own movie released on 16th of May. On 14th of May, got hit by police complaints because we had used a soundtrack that was similar to the Govinda Govinda chant in Tirupati. Nothing else, just the sound tune was similar. It was not blasphemous in any way. The producers absolutely folded. This guy is a thug in real life. He didn't apologize, stood by his convictions, hats off, whether it is right or wrong, salute his convictions. But my producers completely canned the song, did everything, butchered the movie and released what they could because we needed the movie to release. Most people would choose
now
that.
What happens to your campaign?
See, our campaign, first of all, the movies got failed. That is a flop one, actually. And again, the Supreme Court...
But by making that by giving that call of the boycott, you actually ensured that people who are fans of Kamal Haasan will travel, as Kasturi was pointing out, to the neighboring districts, to the bordering districts, and will watch it in other states.
Yeah, they can watch in other state, but see here, when the millions of Kannadigas say their heritage was mischaracterized from this person, so this is not a mob rule. This is the Kannadigas' pride. So that is why our Vedike, whatever the Kannada protesters are there, so we'll see who the theatre owners are going to release this film. We will watch it, who are those owners and all. We will just check it. So I think these films are not going to go to the theaters actually, as per the whatever the government will not take that much risk and all. But again, but we also value that the Supreme Court order, but the Supreme Court is very far from Karnataka to Delhi. Okay, they are not understanding our pride, our laws and all, whatever we are giving to our languages and cultures and all. So that is why
this will qualify as the contempt of court if you're saying that the Supreme Court is very far from Karnataka and that you can continue with your mob justice and mob work in Bengaluru against this film.
No, we are not I said, right? We also value that Supreme Court decision, but it is again hurting our values because see, the High Court already said we are not going to release the film. Again, the Supreme Court saying you can go and release the film. So this is very two different way of things are there, and again it is hurting to entire Karnataka peoples. So that is why we are just go and watch. That's it. We'll see what will happen, but we are
what
just
exactly?
saying
give us clarity. When you say you will see what will happen, what will happen?
No, nothing will happen. So the people are not going to watch that movie because completely Karnataka
So let the people decide, sir. Let them decide whether they want to watch a film or not. I mean, you are no decision maker of their right of choice. They have a choice to decide whether they want to watch the film or not. I mean, why should you decide for them?
See, no, there is no group of people are not deciding this one. This is entire Karnataka. You see on the social media post, videos, entire Karnataka, including Goat opposed that movie. Not only people, even including Goat also given a statement on that movie because that Kamal Haasan statement is completely mischaracterized the Karnataka heritages, and it is very hurt to our people and our land. So you are someone you are hurting and you are talking about free of expression and all that is
Lata, this
not.
hurt
Yes.
is what we have seen in multiple cinemas. I mean, these calls that have been made.
See, multiple cinema is different. See the current situation and how the Kannadigar are reacting and what are the complete situation currently.
You're not really
and
the
how
voice of the entire Karnataka and all Kannadigas. Let
No,
them
no, not
decide if
only.
the film, you're already saying it's a
Already
flop.
this.
So let them
Already
decide,
decided.
let the movie be released in theatres, and that's going to happen now that the Supreme Court has
We see that.
decided and the government of Karnataka has said that they will be following the Supreme Court order in its letter and spirit. Lata Srinivasan, come in, please.
Yes, Maria. I think even the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka has supported it, and he said, we will adhere by the law. Feelings have been hurt. He acknowledges that feelings have been hurt and that, Kannadigas are upset, but he says, while that is one aspect of it, we must abide by the law, by the Supreme Court order. So I think, it's a very dicey situation, like Kasturi pointed out. While the movie, has all rights to be released and Kamal Haasan has freedom of expression, ultimately what has happened is people have been hurt. That is one side of it. And now that the movie has failed and it's already been 13 days, I don't think there'll be any takers even if the film's released. So while legally he has won brownie points, at the end of the day, in terms of making money, there's going to be hardly anything. And now it comes to the point of which theaters will release, because they clearly know the movie is not going to do well. So who is going to release this film to empty theaters? Because for them, it's going to be a loss. So there's a lot at stake here. After 2 weeks, while it's a moral victory, it's a legal victory, I really don't think it's going to translate into anything else, unfortunately, for Mr. Kamal Haasan or for the film itself.
Let me give you the last word on the show, Girish Wankade.
Yes, I totally agree that we should respect what court has given us, but the time is too late now. We have already lost the business potential of this film. The film would have done better had it had been released simultaneously before 13 days. Now that even the mandate, the public mandate, the reviews, everything is out, and film has been rejected overall by the entire audience. So definitely it will be very tedious for the theater owners also to showcase this film. It looks difficult and not at all possible. It doesn't make any business sense for the Kannada theater owners to release this film now because it's too late.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Shivanand, Kasturi Shankar, Girish Wankade, and Lata Srinivasan.